Hi, I'm Keiko Hsu, CEO and founder of Wings for Women. If you're recently divorced or if you're going through a divorce right now or thinking about divorce, you might be wondering what life is like on the other side. Everybody knows that divorce can be the most costly, most complicated, most emotionally traumatic event that anyone could ever experience. But the good news is that it can also be an opportunity to reinvent your life. It can be an opportunity to transform your life. So there is life after divorce. And life after divorce can be joyful, it can be fulfilling, it can be a life of your dreams. Really. So I'd like to share my story with you in the hopes that I can provide some hope and inspiration for those of you who are going through this right now. So I was married for 25 years. I was very focused on my career. And I was married to a man who was also very focused on his career. And I thought I was happily married, but apparently not. What happened was out of the blue on the year of my 25th wedding anniversary, my husband announced to me very suddenly that he wanted out of our marriage. Completely caught me by surprise. I had no clue that he was even unhappy, let alone thinking about divorce. Come to find out that he had fallen in love with a woman who was 20 years younger than me, somebody he had met on a business trip. And he was really in love with her. And it just was a complete shock to me. So he also said that he thought our relationship had gotten stale, that we had drifted apart. But the news hit me like a ton of bricks. I was not prepared for it at all. He admitted that he might be going through a midlife crisis, but I had no idea he was that unhappy. So I went through months of pain, thinking about what I had done wrong. And I worked really hard to try to rebuild the relationship. But after months of promises and broken promises that he would cut it off with the other relationship, I realized that I was not going to be able to rebuild this. And it was an emotional roller coaster for me, but I realized it was not going to work out. So finally, after trying to save the marriage for about 4 months, I bit the bullet and decided to file for divorce. It was the most difficult decision I've ever made in my life. I felt such a wave of sadness. I felt like I'd lost my best friend, and he was my best friend. And sure, I was angry at him, but I was probably more angry at myself for not having seen the signs and done something about it earlier. And on top of all this, my company, who I'd been with for over 20 years, was going through job layoffs because of the economic recession. And so I got a job layoff during the same year as my divorce. So the company that I had been with for over 20 years and the person that I had been with for over 20 years, both of those relationships ended during the same year at the same time. So it was like a double whammy. So talk about feeling alone. I felt like I was floating through space. I felt like I'd cut myself off from the mothership. And I guess I could have been miserable, but I did not want to be a victim. It was a real defining moment for me. It struck me that I had done everything that I could, and I had a peace of mind about that, and it was really time to move on. So it just occurred to me that this was a great opportunity for me to reinvent my life and to pursue my passions. But the problem was I didn't know what my passions were. So there were some defining questions that I asked myself, and you can ask these questions of yourself too. And one was, what do you want to do for the next 50 years? And that's a question that really puts things into perspective, because you might have had a pretty good life up until now, but if you have at least 50 years ahead of you, you have a long life to live still. And, why live life on autopilot? Why live a mediocre life if you have 50 years ahead of you still, right? One of the other key questions I asked myself is, if I had no constraints whatsoever, physically, financially, geographically, where would I live? What kind of work would I want to do? And what kind of people would I want to hang around with? So I took about 3 or 4 months to do a lot of soul searching, to do a lot of inner reflecting, reading, going to workshops, learning, thinking a lot about who I was, exploring what I could be, and what was I really passionate about. And I made some real key decisions that transformed my life. And one of them was that I decided to exit the corporate world and to start my own business, which is Wings for Women, a business that is dedicated to coaching and mentoring women who are going through major transitions in their lives. I also made a decision to leave the East Coast. And I had been on the East Coast my entire adult life. Ever since I moved from Japan at the age of 17, I had been on the East Coast. So I made a decision to move to my dream city, which is San Francisco. And then thirdly, I made a decision to focus on my personal life once and for all. After all these years of being a workaholic and focusing on my career, I decided I'm going to focus on my personal life and to develop a network of friends in my new city of San Francisco. So what I ended up doing was 18 months ago, I made the big move to San Francisco. I bought a beautiful condo with a panoramic view of the San Francisco Bay, and right from my living room. And I have more friends now than I've ever had in my whole life. I've got a fabulous social life. And to top it off, about 7 months ago, I met my soulmate, my perfect soulmate, and now we're engaged to be married. So I feel like I'm living the life of my dreams now, and I'm absolutely passionate about helping other women live the life of their dreams too after divorce. So the mission of Wings for Women is to help women to live a joyful life after divorce and to attain new heights in their life, their career, and their relationships. And what women get from our coaching and mentoring is this. Number one, they get a really clear vision of what your life could be and the step-by-step roadmap to get you there. Number two, to help you find your wings and discover who you really are and who you can be. Number three, to help you discover that inner courage and to do something about your life once and for all and to stop living life on autopilot. And number four, to be whole again, to reclaim those parts of yourself that you lost somewhere along the way, to get that kind of inner peace of knowing that this is the life that you are meant to live, the new life. And then finally, to live a life that nourishes your heart and soul, and to never feel lonely ever again, never feel isolated, and to feel exhilarated about life again. Well, how would it feel to live a life like that? And are you ready to get started now? If you'd like to learn more about this, visit our website, wingsforwomen.net, and sign up for a complimentary, no obligation, Life After Divorce strategy session. And what we'll do is we'll talk about what's important to you. What are your hopes and dreams? Talk about your own situation. And what can we do to help you get there? And if we're a good fit to work together. So if you go to our website, wingsforwomen.net, and click on the strategy session link, you'll be taken to an online questionnaire where you'll fill out some brief background information on you and what you want. And then you'll be sent a link to a calendar where you'll be able to schedule your 60-minute session right away. And that's it. It's very easy. So what are you waiting for? Life is way too short to live life on autopilot. It's too short to live a mediocre life. Get started on your journey now. Take that first step. Go to wingsforwomen.net, apply for a strategy session, and I look forward to partnering with you to help you on your journey and so that you can develop a life that you can feel exhilarated about so that you can feel alive again. Thank you.